much for being here this evening, and thank you very much for that warm introduction. I want to kind of give you a little bit of an update about what the Gen for Congress campaign has been doing as of late. Just this week, we wrapped our first television ad spot, and that will be running beginning in November 1st. We have it running a couple of times before that. So for the first time in many, many years, and really I haven't met anybody that can remember a time when we did have a Democrat running on broadcast television in Joplin, but for the first time in many, many years, we will have Democratic politics on the airwaves in Joplin, Missouri, which is a pretty big deal. And after November 8th, I'm looking around the room and I'm counting on some of you to go get me groceries and necessities when I can't leave the house ever again. Come on, you're supposed to laugh heartily. It was a good thing. No, I take my role very, very seriously in sort of carrying the banner of liberal, progressive politics in Southwest Missouri, because I think without people that are ready to stand up and say, this is what I believe in, I'm a member of your community, I study next to you, I work next to you, I worship next to you, and I'm a liberal, progressive Democrat, and I don't have horns, and I don't go home and murder puppies or anything that you may think I'm doing. I am a human being, I am a member of your community, and I vote Democrat. It is something that I am all too painfully aware of, the fact that the 7th Congressional District is the most conservative of the 8 congressional districts in Missouri. But I know something else. I know that polls change, something that Jason also knows in a beautiful, beautiful way. I know that polls change, I know that demographics change, and I know that times change. And if we don't put in the work to push our part of the state forward right now, then we won't be ready when those things do finally fall into place. And I have a pretty strong feeling that that may actually be this year. When I was preparing for this event, and in years past, I usually give a speech that's obviously very strongly geared toward women in politics and feminism and the gains that we have worked so hard to make here in this part of the state and throughout the nation. And I had it written, and I was sort of doing some practicing to be on time so everyone could go on about their evenings. And I started to realize that I was giving a very strong speech to a room of people that did not need to hear that. And it made me change my mind a little bit. And I would like to take a moment, I won't make you stand because you've done that enough already, but I would like to recognize the male allies to women in this room. One of my favorite pieces of writing ever is the Declaration of Sentiments. If you've never read it, it was written in 1848 by a group of women and men that were very much tired of the way that women were mistreated throughout all facets of society. And again, it's one of my favorite pieces of writing, and it's very much in keeping with the Declaration of Independence here in the United States. But one thing that has always struck me so closely, it stuck out very strongly to me, is that there were 32 male signers of the Declaration of Sentiments. And those men stood up and said, I don't think this is right. And that's what you all are doing here this evening, and what you've been doing for good portions, if not all of your life. So again, I thank you, the other women in this room and women that aren't in this room. Thank you. There's a foreword to one of my favorite books, and in that, the author of the foreword, I guess, quotes Elizabeth Cady Stanton. And it's a fairly long quote. It's from a speech that she gave in 1888 in the International Council of Women. And at the end of it, she says, "The true woman is as of yet a vision of the future." And she also goes on to say that the work that she knew that she had done and the gains that she had made, that she was leaving that to the next generation of women. and that while they benefited from it, it was also a heavy weight to carry. And Elizabeth Cady Stanton died 17 years before women gained the right to vote. She never cast a vote in her life. Exactly. She knew that she was paving the way for women like our very own Emily Newell Blair, who then paved the way for women like Eleanor Roosevelt and Frances Perkins, who then paved the way for women like Sandra Day O'Connor, who paved the way for our very own Hillary Clinton. Thank you. It is the work that we do here and now that makes the impossible possible for the next generation. Yes. And I thank you, and I'm honored to stand alongside you in doing that in this, the reddest of the 8 congressional districts in Missouri. Thank you. I am honored to call you friends. I want to leave you with this. I say it a lot, but I think it bears repeating. When you leave this room and you go out into your community, and people ask you, why are you involved in Democratic politics when you're so clearly outnumbered in the polls? And sometimes you don't even have a candidate to vote for in some positions. I want you to look at them, and I want you to politely tell them this. The people that we are currently sending to Washington, D.C. and Jefferson City on our behalf are not our representatives. They are not servants of the people. They are the representatives, people like Charles and David Koch, Rex Singfield, and David Humphreys, and they will never vote for us. Why, with our silence and our inaction, would we be voting for them? And I encourage you to go out with that attitude and put every single ounce of energy that you have into this election, because morning of November 9th, our regrets mean nothing. Go ahead, make people uncomfortable, annoy your friends and family, because the heart and soul of this country and this state are on the line.